the Icicle Hitch. Hello everybody, welcome back, and today's little festive, only if you're watching it in the cold festive season, is the Icicle Hitch. So what we're going to do today is we're going to tie the Icicle Hitch, and the idea behind this one is if you have a pole or a spar, possibly similar to the Timber Hitch, what you can do is you tie the Icicle Hitch, and it can be a very slippery pole actually, and the cordage itself can actually be slippery, but as soon as I pull this cord along in that direction, you'll see what happens. The knot itself starts to open up, and then gradually, as I pull on that, it locks itself in place like so. And you can see here that the turns are actually locking it, and then where it crosses over at this point here is actually locking it in place. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you two different ways of tying the Icicle Hitch, and the reason that I'm showing you two difficult ways, I'm going to show you two different ways of tying the Icicle Hitch, simply for the fact is, one is I will show you how to tie it if you have access to the end of your pole or spar, and then another way if you don't have access to the end of the pole or spar. I'll show you how to actually just tie it around the object itself. So anyway, without further ado, I will undo this and then let's get knotting. See you on the other side. Right, so here's my slippery pole that I want to tie my Icicle Hitch to, and even if it's a pole that's stuck in the ground, you can put your Icicle Hitch round it to lift it as pole or a stake out of the ground. Now, here's my cordage. That's my working end there, and what I'm going to do is pass a little bit through like so, because we need some cordage to work with here. The next thing I do is I pass it underneath my pole like so. So my working end's there, my standing end's there, and then just pass it under the pole like so. And what I'm going to do is go around once, twice, and a third time like so. So there we go. All we've done is we've wrapped it around our cord, like around our post like so. So you can see now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 turns on there. Now here is my left hand side. There it is. And what I'm going to do now is pass the working end underneath everything. So it goes round the back like so, and then comes up parallel to my standing end. So there is my working end, there is my standing end, and they're parallel to each other. And you'll see here underneath where I've done this, I have got a loop that's appeared. So we have a loop here, and now that that loop is there, next thing I'm going to do is just get hold of it, pass it over everything like so, and then pass it over the top of my pole like so. And then once I've passed it over the top of the pole like so, I'll pull up on both my ends like so, and there we have it. We've now tied the Icicle Hitch onto our pole. And the beauty of this is now that I can put this, just slide it up and down wherever I want on my pole. And you see that's the right hand one there is my working end, very short, and this is my standing end. But now if I go and pull on my standing end, you'll see here that the knot starts to looks as though it's breaking apart, but eventually as it pulls apart it tightens itself up onto the stanchion or slippery pole, and you can see here now the harder I pull it's tightening up on there, and so now we have a very tight grip on our pole. And as you can see, I'm really pulling that tight, and that is not coming undone. Yes, it does look a bit messy when it's like that, but I can assure you, because of these crossing points and turns here, that is just getting tighter and tighter on our pole like so. So anyway, that is the way of tying the Icicle Hitch using the loop end if you've got access to the actual end of your pole or spar. So what I'm going to do now is I'll undo this, and then I'll show you how to tie it if you don't have access to either end. Right, so here we have the stanchion that I'm going to tie it around, my Icicle Hitch, and as you can see slippery stanchion, here is my cordage, and in this particular case we're going to pretend that we don't have access to either end, and so we need to tie it in situ. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a fair bit of cordage through for my actual knot to be tied. Right, so the next thing that I do is once I have got my length of cordage, this is something you're going to have to practice as to how much cordage you need, but as you can see here, it's going to be fairly cord hungry. So once I've done that, I then pass the working end underneath my stanchion like so, and then what I do is just wrap it around once, twice and 3 times like so. So then now that I've done that, I can bunch those up together, and then the next thing that I want to do is I want to take my working end here, I pass it underneath everything, so it's going, my working end here is going underneath my standing end, then it's going to go underneath the actual stanchion itself, and then once I've done that, I'm going to pull through the excess like so, and you'll see here that underneath there's a loop appeared here now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my working end, keep my working end going over like so, take the working end so it passes underneath my standing end like so. So pass it all underneath, so you can see there it's passing underneath my standing end. I then get the working end again this time, and I'm passing it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over my stanchion or pole again like so, but you can see here, see where this end here, the standing end is coming out here. I'm going to bring out my lead parallel, so my working end is going to be parallel here to my standing end. So just bring it over, take it round the back, and then run it parallel underneath, so it comes out at this point here parallel, and just make sure those don't cross over. There we go. And now I can pull up tight on everything, and here we have it. We have our icicle hitch here now, and once again I can slide this up and down on my pole wherever I want. But if I then, there's my working end, but if I now take my standing end here and put some tension on it, and gradually as I tension on it, my knot starts to look as though it's coming undone, but now the harder I pull, the more it grips, because it's wrapped itself around this pole here, and also this crossing point here is also tightening up on the cord itself, and even on a really slippery rope, that is not coming undone. That is locked fast. So, you know, it is a really, really useful knot if you have to work shifting stanchions, poles, anything like that. So yeah, you probably won't use it every day, but it's a nice little knot to know when you're actually working with round objects that you need to shift about or pull out of the ground. So there we have it. We have the icicle hitch, and it was tied in 2 ways, and I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and if you hated it, give me a thumbs down. But whatever you do, leave me a comment. Tell me your experiences with this knot, or any other knot for that matter, in the comments section below. And don't forget, check the description as well, because there'll be additional information there for you that you may find useful. So once again, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.